G'day everyone, Mark and Nat here with the round 11 match report for the senior men's team for our match against Uni Blacks out at Scotch College on Saturday. So I think, as we all know, it was a typical dour winter's day in Melbourne, but obviously we're pretty privileged and lucky to have Scotch College as our home ground for this week, and the ground was in immaculate conditions, so pretty lucky with that. So obviously it's pretty wet and fairly tough conditions, but certainly could have been a lot worse on a few other grounds around the state. So this week we went in with two changes, Cooper Lean and Alex Noblet back in for VFL duties, and out was Harry Scott back into at Richmond after their bye last week, and Jack Polkinghorne, who was out injured. So two changes, so fairly stable with our senior group at the moment. Obviously a few guys are away, but yeah, looking fairly strong there. In terms of the first quarter, we had the first couple of scoring shots, which probably, in hindsight, probably could have been goals and should have been, but unfortunately weren't. So Blacks ended up kicking the first two goals of the quarter of the game. And then we got one through Jack Lipscomb, which was off some really smart play through Will Clark through the middle part of the ground. So we went in quarter time, 7 points down. The stats show that we had actually a fair bit of ball, but obviously, again, a fairly contested and scrappy affair, as you'd expect, as both sides were just sorting each other out. Second quarter, we had the better of the second quarter. They only scored the 1 point. We were able to kick another goal, 1-6, unfortunately. So a little bit inaccurate, but plenty of opportunities down forward, and it was really pleasing. Again, obviously our defensive structures held up really well there, and you know, Jack Brown and Dougie back in the back line, and these boys were able to really give us some real stability behind the ball. Reece Galvin for the whole game ended up with 12 spoils, but was certainly competing really well too. So we had plenty of looks on goal in the second quarter, but unable to capitalise. So we took a 4-point lead into half time. Probably the feedback across the group, we were certainly competing and absolutely in the contest, but we probably had some areas there that we could improve in terms of probably being a little bit more aggressive going through the middle part of the ground, and certainly that was an area that we wanted to address. Unfortunately, things didn't really go our way in the first part of the third quarter. Probably on the right side of some decisions that created opportunities for Blacks, and they were able to capitalise. Full credit to them for that. They jumped out to a 20-point lead at one stage. They were on 40, we were 20, and that was the 15-minute mark of the third quarter. So they kicked 4 goals in a row, and certainly, from our perspective, we needed to change a few things, which we did. And to the boys' credit, as we've come to see with this group fairly regularly, the resilience that they showed was outstanding. So subsequent goals to Lockie Johnson, who really made something out of nothing in a packed situation, and Andy Gelbart, real captain's goal, and Jelly led from the front for the entire day. It was fantastic. So again, we went in 7 points down at 3/4 time. We felt we'd probably arrested the momentum a little bit. As I mentioned before, the 15-minute mark was when they kicked their last goal, which ended up being their last goal of the whole match. So a little bit similar to the Xavier game, where we kept them goalless for the best part of 45 minutes, was a really good achievement. So yeah, coming into the last quarter, again, there was probably a few questions to be answered there, and the boys stood up really well. 3-6 for the term. Lockie Johnson again his forward pressure was elite. Will Clark finished his game off. He was superb in the ruck for the whole 4 quarters, kicked a fantastic goal. Cooper Lean's goal, the clutch goal that put us in front, was fantastic. Again, a great reward for effort for him, and his performances in the ones for the majority of the season. And across the ground, the boys were really worked hard. Aiden Frenetic, he lifted his intensity. He had 11-12 tackles for the game. And gave us those opportunities, and again, our defensive pressure really stood up, and the boys showed that real resilience in the last quarter. So to sort of win the quarter by 22 points, win the match by 15, was real testament to just that grind. We had to get used to that, and we knew that Blacks would bring a contested style. That's how they play. Obviously, the conditions were going to lend itself to that as well, and for us to be plus 32 in the contested disposal at the end of the game was a really good achievement. So plus 17 on clearances as well. So prove we certainly got our hands first on the footy. And they obviously had some pretty good tackle numbers, but we were the ones getting their hands on the footy, which was great to see. Plus 32 ground balls, which 18 were hardball gets. So again, really putting our head over it and doing all the right things there. And the territory battle we won with plus 13 inside 50s in the end. So, overall, we battled hard. Blacks made us work for it. And, they're a side that'll, I think, probably take a few scalps in the run home. But overall for us, we're really pleased to come out with a win. 7-4 now, which is a good position to be in. Game and percentage clear of fourth, so we're in third. And as mentioned before, Joel Bart, Clark, Brody Easton, Charlie Jackson, Lockie Johnston, and Jack Lipscomb played a really strong game for us as well. So overall, boys are looking good. We'll enjoy, obviously a couple of weeks off. We wish our state players all the best this weekend over in Perth, and we look forward to getting back into it in a few weeks against St Bernard's back at McQueen Park. So thanks again for your support, guys, and we'll see you soon.